좋은 아침일세! 주변이 다소 칙칙하긴 하지만 이 청량한 향취는 좋지 않은가? 정찰을 하기에도 이른 아침이 가장 적합하지.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Ekamac. This is Limbus Company to claim their bones. In the last episode, we got to bamboo-headed Kim. Turns out he distorted. He is actually an extremely brutal fight. The only reason I won was kind of sheer luck at the end there. Anyway, I've done a little bit of messing about. My own bamboo-headed Kim is looking decent enough to be on his own, but first we need to get him to Uptie 3 because there's a new skill to gain. So let's see, first of all it gives us Yield My Flesh. Until this skill ends, this unit cannot be staggered from taking damage. Keep in mind that he also has this cannot be killed once per encounter thing, so he is going to get a chance to get that off. On Clash Win, gain Poise, on Clash Lose, use to claim their bones. On Crit, deal 2% more damage on critical hit for every Poise potency on self. And more damage the more HP is missing. Claim their bones is nice. 10 Poise plus 1 attack weight. This unit cannot be staggered from taking damage, deal 2% more damage. On the 4th coin, Bleed and Paralyze. Draw of the Sword. Acupuncture, so these are just getting base power-ups. And he gets his support passive. I realized that, oh wait, I'm not getting nearly as many support passives as I should because I'm using untied IDs in the background.
결국 내게는 반성 앞에 한수일 뿐이야. 아직 나의 한수는 끝나지 않았는데 응수할 텐가?
They don't give you much time to see what he's saying. Anyway, what's the story here? I have made my move. Oh, so you have. An old man garbed in glistening white dopo robe sat opposite the child, who wore a hat woven from horsehair and bamboo. The furnace was dark and unlit. The room was freezing. The two sat without even lighting a candle, the moonlight their only source of illumination. Yet the moon was fully waxed and bright. Bright enough to cast its cold light upon the black and white stones on the board. The second state councillor and his bodyguard were having a silent discussion via the game of Baduk. Apologies, young man, I was absorbed in thought. It is quite alright. We have not set a time limit for this game. The old man gently chuckled. He sat there for a moment, toying with the black stones in the bowl. Mind me not, second state councillor. I am but a student in this match. It would be unbecoming of me to bid you to hurry. Yet you are quite impatient now, no? The sound of the smooth pebbles grinding against each other ceased. Has it been 7 winters already? Yes. I have been your protector for 7 years and 4 months, second state councillor. Time passes fast. May I ask for your opinion? I am certain that your perspective may vary from mine. I was raised in affluence, yet you have clawed your way up from the bottom. The child began fiddling with the stones again, briefly absorbed in thought. Then he answers with a gentle voice. The path you walk is dark and arduous one. But I believe that you walk that path with unyielding tenacity for the good of this nest and its feathers. The old man knitted his brows. Perhaps the child's answer wasn't what he was looking for. You have not once shared your opinion with me ever since you became my protector. I suppose that is why I am content with you by my side. I apologize. My response must not have been to your satisfaction. There's no need for apologies. You had the potential to become a blade of clouds had you served the third state councillor instead. Is that not the title all those who walk the path of the blade in Escor seek? To be recognized as one of the very best in the nest? Not even you would jest that you had not never sought one such privilege. I am your blade to wield, Second State Counselor. You were the one who chose me. The child responds immediately and indifferently. A blade follows the hand that wields it. You are that hand, Second State Counselor. This is not a move one makes without nary a thought, young man. I saw no reason for hesitation. The old man, the Second State Counselor, smiled, but there was a tinge of woe in his eyes. If that is your answer, then I have something to ask of you, though I hardly deserve to. I will do as you command. Next week, I plan to present this appeal. May I ask you to protect me until then? I fail to see your purpose in asking me to do the duties that I am already intent on performing. Ah, do you seek to dismiss me after this? I see that your talent in jests has grown since we first met. Written in this appeal are the hideous conspiracies, heinous deeds, and studies that have been conducted in secret. Should the contents of my appeal be made public, it will shake Escor to its roots. That is the strength this appeal carries, and with such revelatory strength begets those that seek to destroy it, assassins. Be my blade so that I may see this path to its end. That is my request. It shall be done. The child replied without a moment of hesitation. He had no reason to, because he never questioned the fact that it was his purpose to protect the Second State Counselor. And that is why the child could not even imagine that he would ever fail. The old man perished despite the child's vow. The child's skills with the blade were unparalleled, yet there was only so much that a single person could manage. The powers be of Escor held resources and ploys that no single human could possibly withstand. No one in Escor quite knew who murdered the old man, or how he was murdered. He was killed in a manner that could never be traced. Probably not Shi Association, because I feel like I don't know. Shi Association are the assassins, but I don't think untraceable killing methods are quite their style. But the child knew. It was the old man's political enemy, the Third State Councilor's doing. It is before sunbreak. Not a soul stirs awake in this hour. There was another old man sleeping, yet soon awakened by a noise from outside his window. What? Is anyone out there? The old man peeked open the sliding paper door to his room. And came face to face with the child. It was you. How are you still alive? How did you even get in here? The child was surrounded by corpses of decapitated men. He glared at the Third State Councilor with a look of a fiend. There was naught but the silence of dead men who were once his bodyguards. If you cut me down, it shall not end with your neck. Your entire family, your entire bloodline shall be purged. The royal court will send the Chunokan against you. You must know how terribly tenacious they are. They will not let the borders of a nest stop them. Escor, a wing that places heavy emphasis on tradition and hierarchies, often sends Chunokan after contractors who have fled or violated a taboo. Within Escor, the fixers might as well be called Chunokan. And the Chunokan sent by the royal court are known to be like the taboo hunters of other wings. They are deadlier and more tenacious than any pursuers. I will not cut you down. Your death will change nothing. The child's voice is terrifyingly cold and collected. Let this be a warning still. A warning that, if I ever find anyone who's capable of tearing these putrid roots from the ground, I will return. A warning that I can easily separate your pathetic head from your body as a blade cuts through weed. What? With that, the child disappeared into the early morning wind. Men! Find the best Junokun in the nest now! Arrest anyone who ever had ties to that man! I want them hung before me! The child left the third state councillor's echoing bellows behind and resolutely made his way to the borders of Escor. His persecuted fellows who were barely maintaining their status as feathers at Escor. Those who wielded their blades under the banner of the Blade Lineage. He would one day return to this place with them by his side. Okay, that was interesting. Now we have to uptie the others. I'm betting that this version of Gregor is based on the guy we just beat the tar out of the other time. Let's see, speed 4 to 6. Gain is skill 3. If the target is bleed, clash power +1. Inflict a lot of offense level down next turn. Ooh, on hit, if the target has 10 plus bleed, inflict +1 coin drop. So, let's see this. Inflict bleed count. So he's not good at sticking the bleed down himself, but if there is a lot of bleed on the target, he makes them pay for it. Gain base power for Lenticular Rend, and gain base power for Shadow Cloud. When the ally with the slowest speed hits an enemy with 10 plus bleed, inflict offense level down next turn.
어느 때보다 머리가 개운하구만. 담배 맛도 최고야. 날뛰기에는 최고의 몸 상태군.
You know what's cool about alcohol? It makes people honest. It kills your liver, makes you sloppy, lots of downsides, sure, but I gotta say, it's got its uses. If you're a part of a syndicate, I mean, if you survive long enough in a syndicate, that is, you'll be getting some underlings. 3, 4 underlings, easily manageable. I can figure them out after chatting and working with them a few times. But once you start getting 10 or more underlings, it gets a bit hard to manage. They're supposed to be my eyes and the ears, hands and feet, right? I don't want any bad apples in any of that. One bad apple could mess everything up. Which means I still gotta remain hands-on, which is annoying as hell. And that, my friends, is when alcohol comes in useful. And if I act like I just downed a whole ass barrel, they'll start to think, oh man, I got assigned to some brainless drunk as my captain. Especially our new recruits who never seen me sober. That's when they start to let some things slip. Things that let me know who they really are. Pretty useful, huh? This alcohol. Now, come on, pour me some liquor already. Seriously, Captain? Should have saved that speech for when the recruits ain't around. They're all here, you know. They are. It's been about 30 minutes since the child started this slurring rant. His fate was flat against the table the entire time, of course. It was unclear whether that fact registered or not as he continued to mumble at the poor subordinate who had the misfortune of sitting next to him. Listen up, boys and girls. Yes, sir! Just because our captain is a bit sloshed don't mean that he's just some common drunkard, you got that? Answers! Yes, sir, of course not! Oh, come on, man, you're making me blush. Just shut up and pour, okay? The subordinate's effort to bring back a semblance of dignity to this gathering was immediately dashed by the child's casual demeanor. The thing is, the thumb takes their hierarchies extremely seriously. Just speaking out of turn can be enough to cost you a tongue. And an angry outburst gets your entire section wiped out. He wished that the child would act with some gravitas for once, but that was probably a tall order for someone who holds these drinking parties pretty much every day. Well, he wasn't exactly worried for the child though. He knew that the captain was the man who gets the job done, regardless of his usual demeanor. The man who knew when to get serious. The subordinate knew that very, very well. He'd been at the child's side for a long enough time to know. He knew that the child had a bizarre power to get over any hangover or drunkenness with a single roar, Every time he was assigned a job, he'd stumble up, roar, and he'd be sober. No hangover or anything. Alrighty boys, are we ready to teach those oboes that dared encroach on our territory a lesson? Yes sir, everyone's been whetting their blades in preparation for that very day, sir. Those blade lineage bastards have been a thorn in our side, not just to the Patriarch, but to you as well. Well, the Patriarch, well, that's none of my business, but all I want to do is test their mettle, see what they're made of. The child downed the liquor with a single gulp, then let out a satisfied sigh. The backstreet swordsmen rarely ever swing their swords for the love of it. Eh? I bet you're the same, you. You learned how to swing that thing around just so you can strut about, puff chest and all, eh? Scare some people, make some cash. That's not it. That's not it. Come on. Kurokumo's got a severe lack of boys and girls who are serious about the way of blade. Did you know that our predecessors in Kurokumo clan used to train in a real martial arts style? Many of them, in fact. Just look at us now. The child scratched his hair, obviously annoyed. Who knows, maybe everybody who was serious about the blade just got tired of working for the thumb. Maybe that's why they all left the clan to make their own dojos and stuff. Am I wrong? Captain, you can't talk about the thumb like that. What if... I know. That's exactly why the Kurokumo clan's in the shitter right now. Making pocket money here and there, doing whatever they tell us to do, fighting for whoever they tell us to fight. I joined up with the gang way too late for all the fun. But Kurokumo clan ain't a dojo. They've got syndicate and fixer officers for that kinda. Oh, you're telling me that I should just leave everything I've built up in the clan just to be a rookie again at some other place? Man, seriously? But, I have high expectations for the upcoming battle. They're special, I just know it. That's exactly why I'm in a good mood. The child was speaking from his heart. He's always loved to wield his blade, and that's what led him to joining this syndicate. But he was disappointed to learn that not many members of the Kurokumo clan shared his passion. Still, his passion for the blade is what brought him to a relatively high position of the captain within the clan. He soon became one of Kurokumo clan's best men for the upcoming strife. And that's why so many of his men showed him proper respect. The subordinate laughed a little to himself. Tonight, he'll try to restore the captain's drained dignity among his men back to full. The captain didn't deserve such derision. He really was an impressive swordsman. Hey, where's my drink? Yes sir, coming right up. Along with restoring his liquor cup to full. Thus came the day of the strife. The Kurokumo clan, the Blade lineage, it was a face-off. The tension between these two syndicates was palpable. That alleyway will soon be littered with blood and flesh of many men. Watch out for that one in the bamboo act, boys and girls. It was as though the child had transformed from a common drunk to a captain overnight. With commanding voice he points at a man on from the other side of the standoff. Huh? Oh, that weird hatted guy? He ought to see much blood. His eyes, the eyes of a fiend. The henchman began to murmur fearfully at the captain's warning. But that's exactly what the child wanted. Now men will try to steer clear of that one. He'll get the Hat Man all to himself. Blade Fiend or Blunder Fiend, I don't care. Let's split the clouds. The child shouted from the top of his lungs and unsheathed his blade. And that's how the strife began. Yeah, this episode is basically going to be Uptie stories. I mean, I could just skip through them and go straight to the boss, but why would I do that? So, I've actually heard really nice things about Blade Lineage Don Quixote here. So, she changes to getting on hit for her heads. Oh wait, no, that's on her skill too. Yeah, on hit from heads hits. But it also gives her collective breathing. When this unit gains poise potency with its own skill or coin effects, give 1 poise potency to an ally with no poise, or with the least poise, 3 times max. So she's kind of a repair girl for characters that have trouble building their own poise. And here we get her skill 3. Also, she's kind of speedy, 4 to 8. Fare thee well. On use, gain 5 poise. Heads hit, the final coin deals 10% damage. 10% damage on crit to allies with either no poise or with the least poise count. Apply to poise count. After attack, if the target is defeated, gain 1 slash damage up next turn. And she gains base power for draw of the sword, base power for blade arc. And she gets her support passive, Nightly Stroll. One ally with the least poise gains 1 more poise potency when gaining poise with its own skill or coin effects, 2 times max. Ignores allies without poise. That's very nice.
아, 바깥이 소란스러워서 말일세. 잠시 둘러보며 산책이나 해도 되겠는가?
Stop! Stop! The one seated opposite the child shouted indignantly. The child stopped just as she was about to chug the liquor straight from the bottle. Huh? Wherefore hast thou shouted so? We are no mere peasants, Don Quixote. We do not drink straight from a bottle. No? The other child, furious and frustrated, sighed deeply and shut her eyes with exasperation. They were members of the Blade lineage on the run, but as soon as they clear their names, as soon as they can return to Escort, they will be taking jobs as personal guards of the high-ranking officials. And that meant that they would have to know high society etiquette by heart, in case they had to join them for a meal. The other child's head began to fill with all kinds of terrible faux pas shenanigans that this child would put herself in. Oh... It's a shame that we're not going to get any further story out of this identity because I would love to see that. One must drink from a cup, not the bottle. That is proper drinking etiquette. Once the cup is empty, and only when it is empty do you refill it for another drink. Yet, wherefore? The child looks back with a genuine puzzled expression. 'Tis more work for the same amount of alcohol, is it not? To drink from such a petite bowl. It is to prevent one from getting completely intoxicated while maintaining Whatever the other child said, it didn't register in this one. The child began chugging straight from the bottle. So I just realized that both of the 2-star identities, the reason that they're weaker is probably because they're heavily sloshed. Perhaps it was the unexpected flavor, perhaps it was the piercing aroma, maybe it was just that the strong of a liquor. She immediately expelled the entirety of the bottle's contents like a fountain spray. It need not be said that the lecturing child was completely showered in whatever burst forth from the child's mouth. It was not mine intention to... The flavor was simply too different from what I'd... 'Tis made of rice, is it not? I had thought with quite the confidence that its flavour would be no different from that of silky or gamju. What did I say? What did I just say? I just told you to drink from the cup, little by little. If you had listened, this would not have happened. I mean... Speak properly, though we may be of the same rank. At this precise moment, I am your instructor and superior. You will do well to address me as one. Yes, ma'am. First, you are wielding your chopsticks in a manner most improper. This was merely to free my other hand for the bottle. Behold, this is how you properly wield chopstick. Your sloppy technique is a disgrace. The other child's lecturing continued without end. At this point, it was starting to sound like she was just unloading all of her frustrations on the child for the sake of unloading them. But it was the child's fault, no? Actions do have consequences. And I will leave it at that. Oh. Have you completed your reconnaissance? I've been waiting many days to hear your reports. I have discovered in my journeys about 5 different respectable locations in the back streets. That is good news indeed. I must also inquire you about Kurokumo clans. Ahem. Worry not thy heart, I have spied on Kurokumo clan curs as they dine. 'Tis in 2 days. The liquor in the other child's cup rippled as her hand twitched ever so slightly. Indeed, a match causes fire when struck. Yet we must survive, persist, and one day we will find ourselves an opportunity. That is what our mentor has told us. You have done well, Don Quixote, venturing so deep into enemy territory. A handful of them did notice my trail, but they have all been taken care of. The child held up her blade and spoke casually. It was spoken with the same casual cadence as though she had just swatted a few specks of dust from her cloak. Though they may have not started out as members of a syndicate wandering the back streets, the reason the members of the Blade lineage had no hesitation in cutting people down is that they have all each been slayers for a long time, Blade lineage or not. Yet there is a difference. That the blade they used to wield in the service of others is now for no one else but their own. So yeah, we're all prepped. We have full Uptie backup support passives. We have some decent odds here. I should have... So I actually threw away a lot of the threat. I threw away a lot of the... Well, actually not a lot. I threw away all of my blade collection to get the leveling tickets so I could push him this high. I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have invested into something else. I mean, I should have had a few thread left over so I could max Uptie Mersault over there. Oh well. Live and learn, right? So next time on Limbus Company, we have the dungeon. 280 is quite the number, isn't it? Until then guys, take care. I'll see you all around.